Hello, people. Tales of the Crypt. There's no wine in this house. My parents are gone, and I'm in Rocky Mount. Hence my different backdrop. My clean hair, sort of. Are y'all doing okay in the hurricane? It's not good. I'm surrounded by like 400 pine trees. Not that that's some big thing, but one time when the kids were little, they were like 2, 4, and 5. We came and stayed. Hey, Kathy. We came and stayed in Rocky Mount because it was going to be bad in Edenton. Well, darn if we didn't get like trapped in my parents' house. Hey, Debbie. Oh, there's Cody. Oh, and Katie Van Butler. You've gotten me live. I know. And it's not a supporter video. So you people that have not supported me, just kidding, should be excited. Because, anyway, I really wanted to go over kind of what was going on with the hurricane. And I thought, I want more people to hear that. But you who haven't supported have missed some good live videos. Today I shared this video of Amos when he was a baby, like giggling. Oh, so cute. Anyway, we talk about all sorts of secrets and don't tell y'all anything. No school tomorrow for Nash, Rocky Mount. I'm in Rocky Mount, Joanne. I know it's bad. No, my children are not with me in Rocky Mount. So what happened was this morning, I got up. I'm supposed to be in Asheboro tonight. Packed. I didn't go to the grocery store. I was going to. And getting all ready to go. And then leave. And then Asheboro gets canceled. Which is understandable. They had like terrible, oh, there's my friend Leslie from the beach. Had terrible flash flood warnings and stuff. Charlottesville's 2 hours. So anyway, I was already basically to Rocky Mount. So I was like, tomorrow I have to go to Burlington. So I can drive back to Edenton. Or I can stay in Rocky Mount. So that's what I did. I found a sitter. Tree down on car at 64 in Winston. But wait, Nancy, I just heard all those darn sirens. So anyway, so I'm here. I went and got a new phone this afternoon, which, you know, takes like 3 hours. It's very exciting. I'm able to do these like crazy videos. Anyway, my other phone died. Though now evidently my whole family, nobody can get through iTunes, which is really entertaining me. And the fact that these phones tell you where you are, my husband was like, what are you doing in Rocky Mount? Because I hadn't told him yet. It's like, oh my God, I feel like I'm like living with a private detective. Anyway, gotta go. Children call. Oh, they'll be fine. So anyway, yes, this phone, but I think I need 2 phones because that way I use my phone as a computer and then I need another phone to talk on. These clearly are first world problems. I got the very big iPhone. I don't know what it's called, but it's big. Let's talk about real problems. So last night and this morning in Pender County, and just for the record, lots of counties are are hurting. So when I shared about Pender County, people are like, well, we need stuff in Onslow. I get that. But I think for me at least, it's good for me to just move to support one thing at a time. Just for the people that think I only sell wrapping paper. You can turn off the location on your phone. Well, I don't need to. It's not like I'm doing anything naughty. I just didn't know if people are tracking me. Lord knows when the children can do it, I'll really be in trouble. So Pender County has 2 schools that are open, and I think 10 that are not. And so they need certain things. So if you hadn't seen that today, I posted an address and I talked to Beth, who's the head of curriculum and instruction. And now she's doing hurricane relief for the school system. My state representative met with me today about the schools. Oh, I'm so glad. I tell you what, you got to call people. And then Pender County, the high schoolers, the school that's in, they're collecting Halloween costumes for the children. Which is you think, oh, well, that's silly. It's not the children. You know, Halloween is serious business. Blair's driving me bananas. So anyway, if you want to send a Halloween costume, gently used or new, you can. It'll be fun. So we can watch and see what everybody gets. I think I went by Target today, but I couldn't decide. I wanted to ask Blair what she thought. So anyway, that's Pender County. So the other thing I did today was I've been trying to figure out what's going on with the insurance of these schools. And I'm going to write about this tomorrow if I get a second. Lots of school districts. Where do we send them? The addresses, Laura, are in my 2 posts today. There's an address for the costumes if you want to do that. And then there's an address for other things. And I made a list, or I didn't make a list. Beth made a list of what they needed. And then they'll disperse it. There's still, as of yesterday, 660 kids that were displaced. You're welcome, Candace. Thank you. And I think lots of people need lots of stuff. But if we all pick 1 or 2, that's pretty good. Christy says 242 people. What's 242 people? I have a ton of costumes. I know, me too. So anyway, I thought, well, if I mailed mine out by Saturday when I get home, figure out what Amos is going to wear, because a lot of them are, anyway. Got astronauts and a Civil War costume. So anyway, that's that. So the state of North Carolina, schools in North Carolina, and I know some of y'all aren't from North Carolina, but it's worth it just to know about this and to ask questions about your own state. So you have 3 choices. You can buy insurance privately, your school district. You can self-insure. I don't know what the hell that means. Or you can buy insurance through DPI. Now, Pender County is one of those counties. And so the question is, well, Pender County needs this money. Where is the money? So I've been trying to figure out, oh, thank you, Cody. I've been trying to figure out what the hell's going on, right? So I called DPI. Well, the head of insurance at DPI, and I'm sure somebody's going to get me for this. Eileen is her name. She's not been in all week. And I've heard through the grapevine, nobody in her office will say a thing. She's just out for the week and will be back on Monday. And I said, is she out, doing stuff? And you think they would be like, yes, she's in Pender County. I think that darn fool's on vacation. So then Ben Matthews and I played phone tag, but we didn't talk. So then I talked to the next person under him. You can go to the DPI website and all the names and numbers come up. Well, that person, he no want to talk to me. He's head of claims. I can't remember his name. And he said, well, I said, tell me, how are the claims? Are they going? And he was like, I don't know. He said, I don't know so many times. And I said, do I have the wrong number? Okay, anyway, that's funny. So then I called another person who works with the schools in Onslow County, and he gave me a name that I haven't called yet. Because tomorrow I have an appointment to talk to the superintendent of Pender County at 11 a.m. And so I wanted to know the right questions to ask him. But this one person I talked to was really helpful, and he sort of explained the deal. So if you live in a flood zone, you have to have flood insurance, right? And you get it federally. If you do not live in a flood zone, it's optional, and you can get it through DPI. Now, these were my big takeaways. If water gets in your building because water went at your building for 24 hours in high winds and it got up under the flashing, the damage is not covered. If your roof comes off or if your roof peels back, that is covered. So what they're doing is they're trying to be really careful to make sure that they're not paying for something that already existed. Now, I said, when I had Farm Bureau and we had a terrible leak in the chimney, it got paid for, right? The deductible is not that crazy high. Now, I will say the deductible for all the stuff can be between $1,000 and $5,000. That's not that high. Now, there is a $25,000 deductible for flood. But when you think about the millions of damage, it's not really that high. I think they get that. So the school system does not cover mold. Interesting. So when your house gets torn up, right, or now their school gets torn up, and they couldn't get to their schools for 4 or 5 days, and the roof had come off. Well, then mold sets in. It's not covered. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I think it'd be one thing if the school just one day said, hey, we have mold. That they'd be like, well, sorry, but you should have gotten a dehumidifier. But because of damage from a roof, no mold coverage. Ever. You cannot get mold coverage through DPI. And I don't know if the school systems know this. This is kind of what I want to talk to the superintendent about. I think even my own superintendent, I'm going to have a conversation with him about saying, Duplin County's not in school. No, neither are schools in Onslow. I think New Bern's just going, I mean, lots of counties are out. But I want our superintendent to know, boy, if this happened and we haven't, and I don't know if my county has insurance through DPI, we need to really be aware of what it's going to cost us. So, and here's the other thing. You normally have to get 3 bids, like if you had a fire. But in a hurricane, you don't. You get 1 bid, which is fine. I mean, that's helpful. And unlike like my house, just me being, and I was saying this to the fella, my house, we had hurricane damage. I called Farm Bureau, who I love, Bobby Joe Owens, Ted Hagler, wonderful. They come out and they say, here's all your damage and here's how much money we're going to give you. And then one time we had a thing and I was like, well, I can't get any bids. That seems low. And they came back out and they were like, you're right, that was too low. Now what the DPI does, they don't come out and tell you what the damage is. They tell you, they come out to make sure to decide what your bad things are. And there are only 8 people that work in the Department of Insurance at DPI. That's really not very many. They're like 3 out in the field. Anyway, and they hire extra people, they said, but I didn't get into all that. So they come out to your school and your school's flooded and they look and try to figure out if it's their problem or not. Not in like a mean way, but just a truthful way. And if they say, yes, your roof blew off, this is what we're going to cover. It's your job to get the bid in. And when you submit the bid to them, they'll submit the check to you. And this guy was pretty believable. I can't remember his name. But I thought, well, that seems sort of fast. And evidently some money went through today. But I think there have been a few problems. One, it took so long to get into the schools. And then 2, provider, everybody is busy as hell. And it's not like coming to your house. Like going to a school could take days on end of giving a bid, you know? So then you have kids not in school. And this guy who's kind of the representative, what was his name? God, it's going to drive me crazy. Sort of a nickname. In Pender County, I mean, like he was hustling. But the woman that's on vacation, and then the other person I talked to, the head of claims, that kept saying, I don't know. So anyway, so where's Mark Johnson in all this? It's a good question. I don't know. So I don't think any money has been given out. And I think people like to blame Republicans, which I'm a Republican, though it's sort of hard. And they're like, Roy Cooper's wonderful. Well, Roy Cooper, when you start digging around in this, he got $260-something million from Hurricane Matthew. Do you know how much of it's been given out? $200,000 to 22 families this past September, last month. Where is all that money? Sitting in an account building interest? Nobody can tell you that. I mean, I'm telling you, this is what people say to me. I don't know. So the one guy was like, you can't just get money. You have to have, anyway. So we got a problem. One, I think our schools need to really think about, do we want to insure through DPI? Because this clearly is showing that it's not a great thing to do. I guess and DPI started this in like 1949, a fund, and community colleges can do it and public schools. I think it's cute and everything if you have one problem. But in this case, clearly something's not going right. It's a month. Nobody's in there. And the not covering mold due to damage that should be covered is a real problem for me. Hope not true. What I've said is true. I mean, I don't make stuff up. I mean, I've already checked on all that stuff. FEMA money. Yeah, you can get some FEMA money, but you got to think about how many needs there are. And actually, President Trump really did a nice job. 2 weeks ago, he did a presidential order to expand an emergency fund to 18 counties, and he did not have to do that. So that was like one of the things I read tonight. I was like, God, look, here's something good that President Trump has done. I'm so glad to see that. I don't know where Dan Forrest is. Don't forget about him, this lieutenant governor. I guess he's just working on running for governor so he can turn our public schools into a charter school system. You know, that makes me mad. Schools are not in that great of shape before this. Probably not. And they should be a top priority. And to me, why wouldn't they run like Farm Bureau? Wouldn't you come in and say, hey, we're going to assess. This is how much it's going to cost. We're going to get the person for you. I don't know. I feel like it's like, maybe because Eileen's on vacation, that just leaves me with a bad taste in my mouth. Like, DPI shouldn't have insurance if they're not going to really be able to do it. And I think there's some people in there busting their ass. And then I think there's some people in there that are dumb as rocks and some people that are just on vacation. Anyway, like Mark Johnson, if I see one more picture of his face, granted you're looking at my face, in a hurricane photo, I'm going to kill him. Like, he shouldn't be in a hurricane photo. So let's pretend Adrian goes to a school. Now, tomorrow morning, I'm supposed to go to a school in Burlington. And now the school is closed. I go to the school in Burlington and visit the school. This is a school that the Innovative School District is trying to gobble up. It's like a game of Pac-Man. And would I put a picture of myself in the school? Or if I go to Pender County, am I going to get in the picture? That is tacky as hell. Don't be in the picture. You're trying to be a politician, and it's so obvious. God, I promise you when I put a picture of him up, my post never does well. It's just true. I had lunch today with my friend Bruce, so he was a really good friend of my brother's, and he's a really good friend of mine. And usually when I got to Rocky Mountain, they were like, no, Asheboro. I'll text him and say, hey, do you want to meet for lunch at Central? Real good cheeseburgers. And we met, and he's running for county commissioner in Nash County, and he's a Republican, but he's probably a lot like me. I mean, he really has asked me a lot of questions. I'm not in my robe. I'm in this Athleta. You know, I love some Athleta. This Athleta jacket that has a bunch of magnets, so you can like wear it 100 different ways. Only because I've like spilled a bunch of crap on my tank top. So anyway, we met for lunch and we're talking about, and he was like, you know, it's interesting when you're running, it's hard to get to the bottom of things because it really takes so much time. Anyway, to find out this information, I mean, I get it. I have to call and like sort of half lie about why I'm calling. But I mean, it's not illegal. I just say, oh, I'm a mom and I'm helping Pender County. Both things are true. Didn't mention the blog, though. Pick Bruce Berry. Yes, Nancy. So anyway, I think that's the biggest thing is that the schools, some of the time, might be not the school's fault, but because of how the system is set up, it could take a lot longer with the school. If I were a school, I would be like, you know what? I'm going to look at getting insurance through someone else, and I'm going to find out what the procedure is when something happens. Because DPI, as your insurer, and I mean, we like people that work at DPI, actually, truthfully, because they're the ones always emailing me, trying to tattle on what people are doing there. But the people that are making the decisions at DPI, I don't trust him. I don't. I trust the good ones. Yes, sirree, I do. There's some really great people there, but I can't say their names because they don't want anybody knowing that they talk to me. Oh my gosh, this cast. Vivian Howard, I'm so tired of seeing your name. Bye, Cody. We'll see you later. This cast is stinky and gross and is supposed to come off on Monday. Might have to auction it off for the hurricane. It's got the, who's that person, that band guy y'all like? In the, not the Allman Brothers. Who's the band that I saw? Y'all can't even remember. Anyway, bunch of chefs. So that's really my insurance my insurance hurricane update. Are the teachers being paid while they're out? Avett Brothers, thank you, Christy. I think the teachers are being paid while they're out. Teachers have to work. So in North Carolina, teachers have to work 215 days, though something's going down with how that's not going to happen. Students have to go to school 185 days and a number of hours. So there's more flexibility with students. Janie, you just put the Advent Brothers. Tiffany put the Avert Brothers. Y'all spelling. Averett. Oh, that tickles me. Bye, Cody. And so anyway, Amanda Knox is on Oprah. My parents have this big TV. Look. Can you see it? There's more, like, if you watch commercials here, all you do is see stuff about mesothelioma. What is that? And then you see this stuff. These people are like, I tried to lose weight for 5 years, and then I went to this office, and they, something on your stomach, and then the stuff just went away. Now, when people say they've tried everything to diet and it didn't work, they're lying. I mean, we all know it's true. Because if I actually diet, I can lose weight. I mean, it's kind of hard. But I mean, if you dieted for 5 years and you're still like a chubby mushroom, you're not being honest. Now, Lori is on here. Lori is an investigator, which I love because I hope to encourage y'all, which you do, to investigate yourselves. Now, Lori, and I hadn't written a post about this yet, Lori, because this darn hurricane got me over, but I did call. So in 2015, all the schools in North Carolina, and again, if you live in a different state, check on this, switched to a 10-point scale. So it used to be 100 to a 93, and it went from 100 to a 90. So all the schools in North Carolina are supposed to electronically change that grading scale system into the NCAA. And as Lori called it, a patorial. I call it a portal, but you say potato, I say potato. So Lori's daughter's playing softball, having a great time. She's at Barton, and she gets called into her coach's office. She's going to start. She's a freshman. And he said, you've been flagged by the NCAA. You cannot play. This is terrible. So Lori calls her superintendent of Perquimans County. He no call her back. But the principal called her back. And they realized that they had never updated their system. So Lori was like, and several schools haven't. Bertie County hasn't, another kind of school near us. Chowan had, because our wonderful guidance counselor did it right away. But guess who else didn't? This sort of, y'all are going to get mad, but I was sort of tickled because it's sort of a big rivalry. First Flight High School, Manio High School. These are like high schools that always say, we get an A+. They got great athletes. There's like no poverty there, and people are pretty educated. So, of course, they do well. Well, they hadn't updated either. That darn superintendent called me. He was, he had been in Tarboro. Glad he got to Manio. And he was like, what should I do first? Anyway, it's not all about news. Like, you want to help people. So what Lori found was her daughter was supposed to have had a 2.7, had a 2.2. Now, you got to understand, this NCAA thing is a big deal because you get scholarship money based on it. You get accepted places. So her school was showing up as a 2.7, but when the school submitted her transcript to the NCAA because they hadn't updated it, the NCAA got 2.2. Isn't that something? You can go on the NCAA website and check and make sure your school has done it. And I checked right many of them. I didn't check all of them because you have to click and then link. Look, I checked like the schools that I thought would be, and then I checked kind of poor schools. some like different academies weren't. But I don't know if they're really sending anybody anyway. But Manio High School in first flight, I mean, they big. It's been 3 years. So anyway, that's NCAA rules if you have a child that might want to play sports in college. Like Horace, speak of the devil, watching here. Horace, you played basketball at Carolina, didn't you? What's up? Catherine Hunley from Wilmington. Catherine, we need to talk to you with what's up. No, I didn't call him Lori. I ran out of time. Lori, Catherine lives in Wilmington and trying to perk y'all up down there, Catherine. Worried about you. Nash Rocky Mountain is fine. I checked on it. Horace Beasley is Amos's godfather, and now he's hiding because he doesn't like to be called out, which is all the more reason to do it. So anyway, but y'all need to ask questions. And this DPI insurance thing, I think it really is a big deal. Erica, oh, I've missed you. Now, Erica, I'm just going to be honest. I have been doing videos, but on my Become Supporter site. Rebecca said, tell him Ray's wife says hi. School was out again today. Catherine, I know yesterday I was thinking, I didn't get the message, but this friend of mine, Erica, sent me a message and said, we're out of school. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, I mean, I don't depend on school as a babysitter, but I really do. I mean, I might as well just admit it. I mean, y'all, I don't know what you could do with these children. And then just think about the poor teachers. The teachers, you know, North Carolina, our legislators love to pay some teachers for test scores. So then, look, Cameron joined the site. So then, what about the teachers in those counties who hadn't been able to teach? Well, of course their students aren't going to do as well. So they're not going to get paid. I just think it's shitty. Anyway. Erica, you don't have to. I know you've been busy. This supporter thing is a way for me to make some money and maybe not have to travel so much. Which, would I actually like that? There's Logan in Newbern. Logan, we need to talk about $3,000 raised in that GoFundMe that I wanted to do for those families in Newbern at the housing complex where you worked. Logan is was Amos's counselor this past summer. And I'm really wishing Logan would do that again this summer. Really, really, really. But anyway, we have $3,000 and I want to go ahead and get that to you and figure out what you think is the best. And if anybody has any suggestions, I do think it needs to go to Newbern though, because that's where we said it was going to go to initially. So talk Logan tomorrow. Text me. Nothing else. DPI. Meredith, I didn't see you tonight because I was here being lazy after that phone debacle. So tomorrow I'm going to Burlington. Where is Burlington? Is it before you get to Winston-Salem? And I'm going to try to visit that school, that innovative school district. So I did talk about that last night on my supporter video, but I'll give y'all just a little taste. So please make this shareable so other schools can update. Make what shareable? I'm going to write a story about that NCAA thing. I just got to get 10 minutes. So maybe I wrote it. I can't remember. The Innovative School District is a pretty new thing, and they came out with a list of 6 schools that on Monday they're going to announce which ones they want to take over. So I did write a post about that yesterday, and the school in Burlington is on the list. So anyway, Innovative School District is what the guy told me at the Innovative School District. He was like, oh, it's not about teachers. We just have way more flexibility. Logan is going to contact the woman. Thank you. Next summer with Amos, does that mean you're going to work with him, Logan? That's exciting. They have been after my school for 2 years. Oh, Angie, are you the school in Rocky Mount or Goldsboro? You're Rocky Mount, aren't you? What's the school? The school is called, I think, Hillside Elementary in Burlington, and it's considered a rural school, even though it's 7 minutes from a Target. Angie, but your school was on the list last year, and y'all have made a lot of progress, right? So we're hoping they're not going to get you. Isn't that terrible that it feels like that? And I think no school, I'm sure, Angie, you might say this, like, yes, we need help, but is this the right way to help? And Bruce and I were talking about this today. I was like, you've got to understand, I always look at money, unfortunately. So if an innovative school district, if somebody said, hey, I want to help you, you'd be like, great. Well, this is a for-profit company that comes in and helps you, and they get paid $100,000 a year and 5% of the operating budget. And then if they raise your school letter up a grade, they get 10%. This is a business. This is not about children. And even if they do a wonderful job, there's one school in the Innovative School District, and Eric Hall was the head last year. So he made $150,000 last year to run the Innovative School District, which had no schools. Hello, I could have done that. Well, now they've hired a woman from Atlanta, and she's taken his job. And curiously enough, she's done work in education. And her company had been hired in June to do some evaluations. I mean, we made 69% growth last year, and they still put you on the frickin' list. Anyway, it makes me, as annoying as that insurance stuff is, this Innovative School District is, like, makes me hot. I mean, blood boil hot. And so they make a ton of money, take over your school, and what they're doing at South Pole Elementary, they go to school from 8 to 4 every day. And then they have all these extra positions. And I said, well, who's paying for those? Well, we got grants through DPI. A grant. That's like me getting a grant through my parents. I mean, that's such bullshit. Anyway. Golly. Anyway. So if you see anything about these innovative school districts, you need to say, you know what? They need help. But is this the right way to help them? Maybe when Mark Johnson cut 41 positions of people that went in to help low-performing schools, maybe that was a better way to do it. I mean, this year alone, they've spent $80,000 on marketing. $80,000 on marketing. Because they're trying to make it sound good. So my job is to spend 20% of my time making them look bad. And not look bad, just be honestly bad, because they are bad. So he was like, we don't take them over. It's a partnership. It's not a partnership. It's prison. Either you close up or you get taken over. That's not a partnership. That's like saying to a friend or some girl or a boy, you have sex with me or you die. I mean, you can't do that. A partnership is like, hey, do you want to have sex or not? No. I mean, anyway, God, it's annoying. Partnership. The marriage of public services and private business. Yeah, and people are like, well, my kids go to charter school. Listen, I'm all for school choice. I've seen and heard from enough families. We clearly have some problems, and we've had some great charter schools. You do not want someone making money off education. If you do that, you're going down a bad path. So anyway, I have a real, and that's an opinion, it's not a fact, but I clearly feel really strongly about it. And I think it depresses me when I see like, oh, look, this guy gave Dan Forrest $50,000. Oh, and look, Dan Forrest voted for that. Oh, isn't that coincidental? And here this guy set up the AAC, which is running the first ISD school. Oh, he used to be the head of CFA, the charter school group. And look at there. Now he's done this group. Oh, and look, he had a party for Dan Forrest at his house. That was so nice of him. Gosh, Tony Helton, Hellatron, you had a party for Dan Forrest at your house. That's so wonderful. Williford Elementary, that's right. Well, Nancy, I've heard that it's doubtful that they're going to get it. But I'm working on some of my moles to see if I can find out. Ain't nobody talking at DPI. I did call today just because I'm a bitch and asked if they were going to close down the website. I mean, this is like what I do when I'm riding in the car. I just call random numbers and ask questions like that. Oh, and it makes me so tickled. And one woman like died laughing. And then the person who kept the claims manager, who was like, I don't know. He was like, no, I don't know. I was like, oh, well, I think Mark Johnson usually likes to kick up his website when there's a disaster. We are not even the same school as last year. Oh, Angie, and y'all aren't in school tomorrow, or I could pop in there and see you. Close down the website. I mean, what if I could get a hold of DPI's website and channel all the traffic to Tales of an Educated Debutante? One, it would be helpful for me. But two, it'd be, I mean, what a crook. Anyway, did y'all see that Policy Watch, Billy Ball is in charge of Policy Watch? He did find out that they broke the darn law when they built that website. Not that anybody cares, but they did. Anyway, what else is not going on in North Carolina? You all are going to be experts on North Carolina if you're not from North Carolina. That Florida, Mexico beach, golly. Those poor people, their school like lost the walls. Anyway, this hurricane stuff is bad, and there's a couple more out there. I mean, I don't know where they're going, but they're lurking. Anyway. Actually, pre-K 2. Yes, I talked to a school board member who told me the school changed from pre-K 5 to pre-K 2. That was probably a good idea. Christy, it's rainy and windy in Virginia. I bet it is, because you're near Edenton, sort of. Oh, that little fella Maddox with the autism that was found. His autopsy is pending, Rebecca. It was not accidental. They said where he was found. You all remember that? He got lost at the lake. Because where he was found, he was like buried under some brush. I tell you what, when you have a little person with special needs, and they can't really tell you things, it's nerve-wracking. That's why it's so important to feel like school, which I thank you, Lord, for a wonderful school. It just makes such a difference. I can leave Amos, and I know he's being loved and getting better attention than he does when he's with me, probably. Anyway. My friend on news. Oh. Well, I got a salad. But then I discovered that there wasn't enough ranch dressing for a salad. And cheese fries. Or I had to eat the cheese fries. I know. I definitely do not need a cheese fry. That's sort of my trouble. Let's just be lighthearted for a minute. When I go out of town, I'm like, what am I going to eat when I'm gone? That's what I think. You know why? Because I live in Edenton. We have a Pizza Hut and Wendy's and McDonald's. We have Waterman's and the Bistro. Those are good places. But I mean, oh, they're so good. Now they're kind of cold, though. I think they were better in college. Devin Stronach and I used to go get them. Just sit and eat cheese fries. And drink Coke. Oh! Logan, you went to Bojangles? That was smart. I'm at my parents'. They're not here. I think I could live alone. I really like it. The Freeze. Oh, yeah, we do have the Freeze. I hadn't been back there, Jeff, that was Tasty Freeze, since they've changed ownership. I tried to get a drink this morning at like 10, and they were still closed up. You had fish tacos tonight, Bess, at Waterman's? I had them last night. But I ate so much of that spicy sauce, that's not a good idea. And their wine makes you tipsy. Yes, Cindy Dunn said, I feel compelled to go to Chick-fil-A every time we go to Elizabeth City. Not only do we go to Chick-fil-A, then we also go to Panera to get bagels for later. Oh, you got takeout, Bess. That was smart. I mean, it's like, why am I worried about food so much? I just leave town to eat. Anyway. We have a walk for Hunker this weekend on Sunday. We're going to do that. Best, aren't you? And then I had wine at the nail place. I didn't know that was a thing. I need a nail thing done. Look, here's this person talking about mesothelioma again. But I didn't have time. I only did the phone. And I kind of wanted to go to Target, but I didn't need anything from Target. And then it just made me tired to feel that walking around. I didn't feel like me and my friend got drunk. Rebecca, you funny. So that's it. If anybody needs anything, has any good stories to share, send them to me. And if you want to become a supporter, no pressure. No pressure. Only because I will say, I'm not a supporter because I'm the supportee, but I will say that they're pretty good. And one of the best things about them is Blair really likes to get involved. And my husband has been, honey, y'all, he's been in a few. Him funny on a live video. Because you know he hates these videos. So it's just like tickles me. Hating Ashboro didn't happen tonight. I know, and I was so excited, and I was so organized and prepared. Darn it. So if you do become a supporter, this weekend on Saturday, we're going to do a question and answer session. So you can ask me anything you want, and I'll answer it. That might not sound appealing to you. I don't think I have any secrets. None that you would think about asking. Anyway, y'all carry on. And I look forward to seeing you later. Goodbye. Be careful.